Number 15. Pencil Face. SCAD Shorts is a channel that was active around 2007 to 2008. Their description reads, a monthly series of shorts by the Danny Dwarves. Nearly every video posted to their channel is disturbing, confusing, or weird in some way. This video posted in May 2008, however, is one of their most popular and most disturbing. The video currently holds over 1 million views and has made the rounds through Reddit, 4chan, and even Facebook. The short 3-minute video begins with a young girl in an empty lot who comes across a life-size pencil with a shrouded and shocking face. A slow, childlike song plays over the scene as the girl picks up the pencil and draws a large cake. The cake becomes real and she squats down to eat the dessert. Next, she creates a kite which she plays with for some time. At this point, while the video does create a sense of suspense, nothing bad has happened. It seems more a questionable short on childlike imagination. Things take a dark turn when she draws out a large lollipop. Instead of her quick sketch turning into a large brightly colored candy, a black cone of some type is created. The large black circle with a pointed back makes the sound of a large drum. The girls walk forward to inspect the dark mass. She looks back at her pencil friend with disappointment clearly sprawled on her face. When she turns back towards the black hole, she is pulled in by some force of suction. The remaining seconds of this video feature Pencil Face silently looking at the black hole with his disturbing and somewhat comical smile. Number 14. The Squidward Tape. One of the most popular aspects of online horror is creepypastas. The Creepypasta Wiki has made it simple for anyone to log in and write a bone-chilling horror story. Most of these shorts go viral, turning from a work of fiction to an urban legend. Jeff the Killer, Slenderman, and many more modern legends originated on the Creepypasta Wiki. Another great aspect of creepypastas is all the fan art that comes out of them. Users all over the web paint, sketch, and produce artwork in honor of their favorite scary stories. Squidward's suicide is a popular story from a few years ago that claims that a Nickelodeon Studios intern came across a lost tape from the animated series SpongeBob SquarePants. The tape was labeled Squidward's suicide, and the episode was apparently horrifying. Squidward plays a concert that doesn't go well, and later he has sort of a mental breakdown. In between frames, there was allegedly pictures of a lifeless child. By the end of the disturbing and distorted episode, Squidward places a gun in his mouth and pulls the trigger. Of course, it's safe to assume this was just a brilliantly made-up story by a creative writer. There are several fan-made versions of the supposed lost episode. While they are all disturbing in their own way, this upload by the 7 Hun titled Red Mist Lost Episode, aka Squidward's Suicide, is perhaps the most unsettling and realistic. The quality of the footage, the audio, and the images presented are enough to fill your nightmares for at least a month. The distorted and confusing nature of the video puts the viewer at unease. The fact that this is a beloved cartoon that many grew up with makes it even worse. Number 13. Haunt. This short 4-minute video was created by YouTuber Emperor Gleneth, who describes himself as a young man from West Sussex in England into writing, acting, and directing films or animations. Haunt was uploaded in 2006 and currently has over 500,000 views. The video follows a doll with dark eyes locked away in a small cottage. The doll seems upset or distraught, although it is unclear why. From her bedroom to a dark hallway, we follow the doll as a slow acoustic version of Pink Floyd's "Is There Anybody Out There" plays over the scene. Eventually, the doll opens the door to a bedroom. The music changes to a low, wavy, melodic tune as she enters the room and looks around. She climbs into her bed and continues looking around before things pick up. The doll looks outside and there's a sharp sound which elicits a jump scare. She seems horrified, covering her eyes and sobbing. Through the bedroom window, a terrifying dark figure with wiry hair and a white dress or shirt peers into the window. The figure runs from the window and the doll begins to panic. The next shot shows the dark figure standing in the hallway beyond the doll's open bedroom door. She turns over and pretends to be asleep as the terrifying figure makes its way down the hall. The screen cuts to black and a few seconds pass before a successful and bone-chilling jump scare. The creator mentioned in the description that this stop-motion short was based on the nightmares of his younger brother. Number 12. Light is Calling. This film originally made the rounds as a disturbing found footage. Of course, there was probably a rumor at some point that watching the short video would curse you, and that is common with popular scary videos. However, this short film was created by filmmaker Bill Morrison. The film was released on January 16, 2004 and currently has about 63,000 views. The experimental film is described as a meditation on the fleeting nature of life and love. On the YouTube upload of the 8-minute film, the description reads, "A scene from the deteriorating print of James Young's The Bells, 1926, was optically printed and re-edited to Michael Gordon's 7-minute composition, a meditation on the nature of random collisions." Despite the initial horror of this being a found footage, the art style and vintage feel does add a disturbing factor to the short. The haunting music and poetic description also gives the viewer a sense of uncertainty and horror. Number 11. Possibly in Michigan.
Sharon attracted violent men. Strangely, she had a way of making the violence seem like it was their idea.
This clip is an excerpt from a short film created by Cecilia Condit in 1983. The full film is about 12 minutes long. This clip begins in a shopping mall as a catchy song plays, which sings,
"I bite at the hand that feeds me, slap at the face that eats me, some kind of animal cannibal. Animal cannibal."
Next, two women in the mall meet up as the narrator describes the scene.
Her friend Janice was cut from the same mold. They even liked the same perfume. Arthur, who had been following them closely, was similarly disposed. The three of them had two things in common: violence and perfume.
As the short clip goes on, it seems more like a confusing music video than a film. Despite a slightly comical and lighthearted feel, the video is still disturbing. The scene changes countless times, the voices feel distant from the actresses, and there doesn't seem to be a continuous timeline. Our terrified masked stalker shows up behind the women in several different scenes and even seems to approach one woman in her home. Close to the 3-minute mark, the song changes to what played in the opening scene, as short clips of the two women dancing with masked men plays.
"How do I meet the strangest men? They always seem to find me. Remember that time way back when I kissed a guy who ate his women friends."
Some shots seem to be videos of a TV screen. The women are shown running in the forest, in the mall, and towards their car. A building collapses and one woman is seen laying on a white sheet with flowers around her head, as though she's deceased. The end of the clip shows the woman saying goodbye to another as their stalker, Arthur, stares from a distance. The message here is unclear, but it's likely one of those rare internet oddities that terrifies the viewer with its aged and confusing nature. Be warned that after watching this video, it is impossible to get that eerily catchy tune out of your head. Number 10. The Night Stalker Voicemail. Though the Night Stalker pseudonym has been used for several killers and characters in modern media, the original Night Stalker was a rapist and serial killer active from 1978 to 1986, also known as the East Area Rapist. the Diamond Knot Killer, and the Golden State Killer. This unknown deviant was active mostly on the East Coast. During his spree, he raped and abused over 12 women. In addition, he murdered over 50. This notorious killer was never captured or even identified. Either this killer got away with his crimes and went on to live a normal life, or he continued claiming victims while on the run. Either way, he certainly never got what he deserved. In 2013, there was an increase of the reward for his capture. The reward was a promised $50,000, but still no tips have been reported. This audio recording comes from answering machines of a victim of the Night Stalker. He breathes deeply into the receiver and whispers, In the background of this voicemail, other voices can be heard, implying it was sent from a public place or around witnesses that knew of his crimes. It was most likely that he used a payphone to prevent the number being traced directly to him. The reason behind the voicemail was simple. Rapists and serial killers love haunting their victims after the fact. He was deeply satisfied knowing his victim had to hear his voice and was distraught by it. Number 9. Ted Bundy. This serial killer has become a household name. It's rare to meet someone that doesn't know who the notorious Ted Bundy is. In case you're one of the few though, Ted Bundy was an American serial killer, kidnapper, rapist, burglar, and necrophile. He confessed to killing over 30 young women and girls, though the actual victim count could be much higher and is unknown to this day. A sick mind like this, that goes down in history, is more rare than you'd think. To this day, there are people that adore and deify Ted Bundy. Despite his twisted crimes, Bundy was sentenced to death in July 1979. Nearly 10 years later, before his execution, Bundy gave this final chilling interview. In this interview, Bundy explains that he was the all-American boy with a dark secret. When victims met him, he was clean, polite, friendly, and approachable.
That basically, I was a normal person. I wasn't some guy hanging out at bars or a bum. I wasn't a pervert in the sense that, people look at somebody and say, I know there's something wrong with them and just tell.
He goes on to explain that the motive behind his crimes was a severe addiction to sex and violence. He claims that the media influenced a desire to be sexual and violent. Bundy was addicted to pornography for many years before the outlet no longer satisfied his fantasies. He eventually acted on his dark, lustful thoughts, which led to his actions spiraling out of control.
Once you become addicted to it, and I look at this as a kind of addiction. Like an addiction, you keep craving something which is harder, something which gives you a greater sense of excitement, until you reach the point where the pornography only goes so far.
Of course, these could easily be brushed off as excuses for his inner evil, but it does make one question everything around them they consider to be normal. Number 8. Black magic.
Oh my God.
The healers had come upon nearly 100 objects, buried as part of a hexing ritual.
My God, look at that. That's unbelievable.
This video comes from a short National Geographic documentary on the Sonora Witch Market. The market, located in Mexico City, is a vast outdoor bazaar dedicated to witchcraft, potions, rituals, sex, and art. While most of the scenes in this short film are just of the market itself filled with food and affordable witchcraft materials, there are some scenes that many may find unsettling. Once the crew travels into the mountains, they discover over 100 items wrapped and buried as part of rituals. Many of the objects were related to Hetch rituals, which are used to bring bad luck, bad health, and tough times upon victims of the rituals. Every object buried represented one person affected by the hexes. If you believe in black magic, it is a disturbing sight. Even if you don't buy the bit of witchcraft, imagine all the people that traveled to the Sonora market in search of a ritual to deeply afflict someone that did them wrong.
The people, men, women, children who were captured, so to speak, in those objects that are intended to break up marriages or break up relationships or to bring people together or more nefariously to kill people and end people's lives. That was a horrible thing. Jeez.
Number 7. Types of schizophrenia, a day in the life.
You are about to experience a brief simulation of a psychotic episode in a patient with schizophrenia.
More popularly known as the schizophrenia simulator, the This video was created by Janssen, a pharmaceutical company, in an effort to raise awareness and show the importance of schizophrenics sticking to their meds. The video is filmed in the first-person point of view and starts out innocently enough. A man is waking up and getting ready for his day. He brushes his teeth, reads the paper, and has a cup of coffee. Passing cars, children outside, and a lighthearted music can be heard over this bright morning. The scene cuts to a man lying in bed in what seems to be the middle of the night. Voices can be heard saying,
"Worthless.
He's waking up now.
Oh, the phone woke him up. Don't answer. They'll know who you are.
You're a waste of space.
Why are you so stupid?
A waste of our time.
Stupid. So stupid."
The phone rings in another room and the voices go on warning him not to answer and continuously put him down. He answers the phone, though the call seems distorted. A woman is heard on the other line talking about rain and pizza, but it's unclear her exact message.
Rain! It's
Something
rain.
wrong. Weather.
Now to get pizza.
Poison.
Coming for you. Pizza.
He's hanging up.
Do you hear me?
Don't eat. Out to get you.
The audio of the phone call and the voices begin to overlap. He sits down to watch TV. A news anchor describes two suspects in a robbery. The voice claims they know about you, despite nothing in the report being about our main character. A single voice chimes in, it's time for meds, but the other voices argue that he should not take them.
And in other news, officials have closed the northbound
Time for
lane
meds. Don't do that.
due to a water main break.
He walks into the kitchen and picks out the same paper from the morning before. The headline is changed to read, "Don't leave the house." Even the photo of a man that was smiling before seems to be scowling or frowning now. The voices overlap more. A cup of coffee transforms to black sludge. The weatherman on the TV even looks towards the camera and calls the man worthless.
Something wrong.
You know what, Chuck? There's just no stopping the weekend weather. You hear that, worthless? Weather's coming to get
Something
you.
wrong.
A pizza man knocks on the door. Likely this is what the caller was explaining. However, as the call was very unclear, the voices exclaim that he did not order pizza, and this person is there to hurt him.
Sir, you're stupid to open that door. He has to open the door now.
Here you go.
Don't do it.
You'll be in trouble. Poison.
This is for you.
Despite the voices, he accepts the pizza, and the voices warn the pizza man is part of the plot. He returns to the TV where the news anchor continues to shame the man.
Today's activities calendar. And you need some activities, especially when you're lazy and you sleep too much. Stop staring at me.
Someone begins unlocking the back door as the voices overlap more. The scene is dark and the man can be heard breathing heavily. A woman comes in with a bag of groceries and explains that she called earlier to tell him she ordered a pizza. She notices he has missed his dose of medication.
Well, it's not too late to take it now. Let's get back on track.
She walks into the other room and opens a window while discussing what a beautiful day it is. The scene brightens up and the voices are silenced. The most terrifying part of this video is that it's not some horror film from Hollywood. It's not even a fictional scary story. It's an example of what some people are living with every day. Useful resources for mental illness will be linked in the description. Number 6, Psycho Child.
Okay. And what are you trying to do to your brother?
Kill him.
Why do you want your brother to die?
Because I was hurt so bad, and I don't want to be around people.
This 12-minute clip was taken from the 1990 documentary titled Child of Rage. The documentary followed a young girl named Beth Thomas. Beth was adopted after being removed from a severely abusive home. After her adoption, she showed signs of rage and violence towards others. Beth was diagnosed with reactive attachment disorder, a disorder that often portrays children as murderous psychopaths. However, the disorder is described as a child's failure to form normal attachments to primary caregivers in early childhood. Abuse or neglect can often lead to reactive attachment disorder, and while many show signs similar to Beth Thomas, other signs are unusual reactions to social situations, such as not forming healthy bonds or forming overly close bonds with strangers. In this case, Beth abused her brother so badly that he was sent to the hospital multiple times, often from stab wounds. In this clip, she explains that she wants to murder her brother, stick pins into her adoptive mother and father, kill her pets, and she even admits to killing several baby birds.
Okay. Who else would you like to stick pins into?
Mommy and Daddy.
What would you like to have happen to them?
Die.
And what do you do to the animals, Beth?
stick them with pins.
Do you stick them a little bit or a lot?
A lot.
What are you trying to do to the animals, Beth?
Kill them.
At one point in the interview, she states, "I was hurt so bad, I don't want to be around people." While many see this video and believe Beth to be evil deep down, these behaviors are only a result of long-term abuse. Beth was beaten and sexually abused for most of her young life. Luckily, after intense therapy, Beth went on to recover from her disorder. She fully turned things around and was able to never act out violently again. Today, she's an award-winning registered nurse that works closely with children who suffer from similar disorders. Number 5, Burritos Boy.
You're such a good boy. Come here, Grandma wanted to give you a big kiss.
It seems every creepy video list we create, David Firth always lands a spot. This famous creator of salad fingers and crooked raw brings a twisted, sick, confusing, yet highly entertaining form of art that has never been seen before. Though the animator's YouTube channel only has about 700,000 subscribers, his videos rack up millions of views and he has been recognized for his work on Adult Swim and other mainstream platforms. This video, Burritos Boy, was created in 2004 and uploaded to First's channel in 2009. While it is not one of his more well-known works, it still has over 2 million views. The comments are filled with horrified and intrigued viewers both praising and damning Firth for his ability to unsettle even the bravest of horror fans. The 3-minute-long video features a young boy interacting with his shaky, decrepit grandmother and what we can assume to be hallucinations. The young boy walks into a room where his grandmother sits in a rocking chair. There's a low classical song as background music that throws the viewer back to a time they don't remember. The boy drops what appears to be a pill bottle, and his grandmother asks for a big sloppy kiss. The roach-like humanoids in sweaters pop into screen and tell the young boy not to listen to his grandmother.
Don't listen to her. She's a witch.
The video glitches and the scene turns bright red. We zoom into the child who seems distraught and even horrified. The short goes on and the boy travels out to get special leaves for his grandma. When he comes home, their small home is filled with smoke. The boy ventures into the house, stopping to puke a black substance. He discovers that his grandma has been pushed into the fire. The roach pops out to exclaim, "I did it." The scene transports to a white room full of openings. The roaches pop out of cubicles and question the boy about his hallucinations. They go on in a conversation that seems to be like a doctor making an over-the-phone appointment.
Great, sir, yes? How does 9:41 sound for you, sir? Okay then, sir, we'll see you then, yes? But just remember, sir, we're the good beetle.
The video ends there, but of course, this is only the first in a deeply disturbing series. One YouTube commenter even said, "I'm schizophrenic and this is pretty much horrifying, yet it reminds me of myself." Number 4, Val Val Val.
Hello, person.
This filmmaker has not been active in over a year, though the content on his YouTube channel is highly underrated. Ben Wheel's YouTube channel has a handful of disturbing animations. Despite the confusing and visually horrifying nature of these videos, they only have about 20,000 or less views. Those that do not seem to frequent his channel have stated that these works make David Firth's creations look innocent. This particular video, Val Val Val, was uploaded in 2009 and has over 168,000 views, contrary to other uploads. The 2-minute animation is an array of blocky 3D characters, disturbing audio, a bit of cartoon gore, and quickly changing scenes. It's a bit hard to go over every detail of this film, as there's a lot to it. Just know that it's another film which resembles a fever dream or a LSD-induced nightmare.
Hello, person.
The imagery used is unsettling on its own, but the added movement and audio makes the short truly horrifying. However, a few scenes are actually more funny than scary, which really changes the feel of the video and makes those few terrifying scenes all the more chilling. While Ben Wheel does have a website at benwheel.com, there doesn't seem to be too much more information on him. His website immediately opens with an unsettling animation and deep ringing noise, and the only links featured lead back to his YouTube uploads. If you have any more information on this creative filmmaker, feel free to share it with us. Number 3, Poppy.
Do you ever wish you could just restart?
Everything's gonna be okay. Don't worry about it, you're gonna be fine. I think everything's gonna be okay.
This YouTuber has a combined 97,985,645 views on her channel. In her video, she wears stylish pastel clothing, has long blonde hair, and wings her eyeliner. From the outside, she seems like your average hipster blogger, beauty guru, or aspiring pop star, which is exactly the persona she conveys. Apparently, Poppy is an upcoming pop star using YouTube as a platform to share her music and her innermost of thoughts. Of course, her videos are deeply unsettling, confusing, and creepy. Earlier this year, Poppy took off in the horror community because of her video, Am I OK? The film theorists, Rainbot, YouTube Explained, Nightmind have all made videos explaining or exploring the concept which is Poppy. To make a long story short, Poppy is either a new and upcoming ARG or a complex art project, though both seem equally likely. In this video, Am I OK? Poppy stands in front of her pastel background, barely moving a muscle. She says things like, do you ever wish you could restart?
Do you ever wish you could just restart? What if you could reboot yourself? Almost like a computer. This planet makes sense to me. Everything's perfect.
She speaks in a soft, monotone voice while staring into the camera and smiling. Under the audio of Poppy's questions, a deep ringing ambiance is played, and around the 50-second mark, Poppy goes completely quiet, so all that we are left with is her blank stare and the suspenseful music.
It's okay. I think everything's gonna be fine. I believe that everything's okay.
Most of her videos carry the same template of her hardly moving and speaking commentary that doesn't make sense, but also makes you question your life. In one video titled, Does It Go to 1 Million?, Poppy asks, how high can they count at YouTube? And what would you do for 1 million? Which lends to the idea that this is a commentary or artistic statement on the modern craze to be famous, even on the internet. Of course, there are many other videos and details that support this theory, and there are many other theories around the web. Either way, watching this young girl say, I am Poppy for 10 minutes straight, is a unique take on horror that gets a message across while making your hair stand up. Number 2. Reanimated Dog Head. The earliest YouTube upload of this video was in 2009, although it's uncertain who originally uploaded the clip. This particular upload by user Happy Smelly Fish wrote, Experiments in the Revival of Organisms is a 1940 motion picture which documents Soviet research into the resuscitation of clinically dead organisms. The British scientist J.B.S. Haldane appears in the film's introduction and narrates the film, which contains Russian text with English applied next to or over the top of the Russian. The operations are credited to Dr. Sergei S. Bryuhenko. This nearly 10-minute clip shows a group of scientists and surgeons working with different organs. For example, the lungs, stomach, and even heart are shown to have been reanimated to an extent. Though slightly unsettling, it seems to be the usual informative medical research film. Things take a dark and arguably unethical turn when a pump is used to reanimate the decapitated head of a dog. The pump is meant to mimic the functions of a heart, which pumps blood to and from the brain. After the pump is connected to the dog head, external stimuli are used to elicit a response. The dog head is poked and tickled with a feather to which it slightly twitches. Then small swabs of citric acid are rubbed on the dog's nose and mouth, after which the dog opens his eyes and licks around its snout.
The isolated head lives on for hours and reacts to external stimuli.
Seeing the movement on a dog with no body is eerie to say the least. When a hammer is slammed on a surface, the dog responds by looking towards the noise. A similar process is used with another dog in a latter scene. In this case, the dog's body is fully intact when the pump is connected. The dog is successfully reanimated via the pump before they allow the dog's body to function by its own resources. If seeing dead dogs move around on a table isn't enough to make you uncomfortable, just think what this technology could do for humans. On one hand, yes, it could be used to save lives. On another, it could be seen as quite evil and even scary. Before we get to number 1, my name is Chills and I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you've ever been curious as to what I look like in real life, then follow me on Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT with underscores instead of spaces. I also have a Twitter at YT_chills where I post video updates. I'd really appreciate it if you followed me, and feel free to send me a DM if you have any questions or suggestions. If you'd like to see more of these videos in the future, then hit that subscribe button because we upload new countdowns every Tuesday and Saturday. Number 1, he took his skin off for me.
I could see everything. He was beautiful.
The short film, while disturbing, is actually a powerful work of art. The 11-minute film was created by Ben Aston, based on a short story by award-winning writer Maria Hummer. The synopsis of the film reads, "The story of a man who takes his skin off for his girlfriend and why it probably wasn't the best idea. In this twisted modern-day fairy tale, a man removes his own skin for the woman he loves, believing it's what she wants him to do. And she does, at first. But his action soon proves to have dire consequences. Small things like stains, things they can handle, but before long it becomes clear their relationship will never be the same again. There have been countless re-uploads of the short, but the official film was posted to Ben Aston's Vimeo page in 2015. The upload currently has about 2.4 million views, plus the millions of views scattered across YouTube re-uploads. The film, despite being horror-based, is set up to feel like a slow-moving romantic story. The narration is sweet and clear, the scenery is welcoming, and the explanations of the woman seem more like describing a small hurdle in an otherwise perfect relationship, which aids in making the short so unsettling.
I had to clean the house more often too. A few hours a day if I could. It was the least I could do.
Despite the viewer being appalled by the concept of someone removing their skin, the woman seems unfazed. In fact, she seems almost offended by people questioning her lover's choice to remove his skin and expose himself. Deeper problems begin to arise. The man has trouble connecting with others, as he feels he's already saying all that he can. He begins to admire his skin from the closet, hanging up like a suit. It's clear he is unhappy and longs for the safety of his skin. The woman is upset by these revelations and becomes distant as well. The couple have a silent dinner before lying in bed together. He caresses her skin and looks at it longingly before tugging at it. Her eyes fill with fear as he pulls even harder and the film abruptly ends. Everyone has a different theory about this message of this film and the result of its end. We suggest that you view it for yourself and form an opinion on this sinister yet perplexing short. Thanks for checking out this video. Be sure to subscribe because we upload new countdowns every Tuesday and Saturday. Or if you're still not convinced, here are some of our other videos that I think you'd like. Enjoy!